Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 9 p.m. English News Edition. Here are the top stories. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mr. Dilaita Mohamed Dilaita, the President of the Hemicycle, chaired the President's Conference. And for the international news, as part of the humanitarian agreement, the International Committee of the Red Cross hands over the remains of Palestinians in Gaza. The details now, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned in the title, and the chairmanship of His Excellency Dilaita Mohamed Dilaita, President of the National Assembly. The Conference of Presidents was held this Sunday, October 19, 2025, in accordance with Articles 12 and 21 of the Rules of Procedure to the National Assembly. The government was represented by His Excellency Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Prime Minister. Also taking part in the proceedings were two Vice Presidents of the National Assembly, the President of the Parliamentary Groups, the President of the Standing Committees, and the General Rapporteur for the Budget. The Conference of Presidents reviewed several items on its agenda, including the preparation of public session and the referral to the standing committees of pending draft laws. 3 bills were submitted to the parliamentary bodies for review. Draft Bill number 188, year 25, 1998 legislation on the final settlement of the budget for fiscal year 2024, and Draft Bill number 189 on the revised state budget for fiscal year 2025 were referred to the Committee on Finance, General Economy and Planning, and Draft Bill number 187 on rural electrification was referred to the Committee on Production and Trade, expanding to include the Committee on Legislation, General Administration and Human Rights for joint review. And now the Committee on Legislation, General Administration and Human Rights, chaired by the Honorable Khaltoum Farah Saeed, in an expanded session with the Committee on Social Development and Environmental Protection, chaired by the Honorable Kamil Mohammed, convened to examine the draft constitutional amendment bill in accordance with the provision of Article 91 and 92 of the Constitution and Articles 54 and following of the Rules of Procedure of the National Assembly. The proceedings were held in the presence of Mr. Ali Hassan Bahdon, Minister of Justice and Penitentiary Affairs responsible for human rights, Mr. Hassan Omar Mohammed Burhan, Minister of Defense responsible for the relation with parliaments, Mr. Saeed Nur Hassan, Minister of the Interior, and Mr. Omar Abdi Saeed, Minister of Labor. They were accompanied by Mrs. Suad Hussein Farah, legal advisor to the President of the Republic. During the session, the committee members conducted a thorough review of substantive provision on the draft bill in accordance with Article 91 of the Constitution and the relevant provision of the Rules of Procedure of the National Assembly. At the conclusion of the deliberation on the amended draft, the members of Parliament issued a favorable opinion and approved its referral to its plenary session for debate and a vote by the national representation. And now an important meeting was held today between Djiboutian delegation led by the Ministry of Economy and Finance in charge of industry, His Excellency Mr. Ilyas Moussa Dawali, and a high-level World Bank mission headed by Mr. Usman Dion, Vice President for the MENA region, accompanied by his counterpart in charge of digital transformation. This strategic dialogue provided an opportunity to assess the progress made by Djibouti in key areas such as governance, the digitalization of public administration, and the management of climate change and migration-related challenges. Both parties welcomed the significant progress made in the implementation of National Digital Code, a major tool aimed at strengthening transparency, improving public services, and boosting the country's competitiveness. Migration issues were also discussed. Djibouti, located on a major migration route, hosts nearly 450,000 migrants annually. The situation places pressure on infrastructure, but the country continues to respond with humanitarian and solidarity while calling for greater international support. Discussion was also on the impact of climate change, particularly water scarcity and vulnerability of rural areas, as well as geopolitical instability in the Horn of Africa. The two delegations agreed to develop a joint action plan around priorities areas. And now on Sunday, the Minister of Muslim Affairs, Endowment and Waqf of Djibouti, Mr. Momin Hassan Barre, received his Somali counterpart, Sheikh Mukhtar Robo Ali, Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf of the Federal Republic of Somalia in Djibouti. The Somali minister was accompanied by a high-level delegation composed of Islamic scholars, parliamentarians and senior officials as part of an official visit aimed at strengthening bilateral relations in the religious domain. Discussion focused on several key areas of cooperation: training of religious leaders, management of mosques, development of Waqf, and the promotion of Islamic values. Both sides also discussed coordination of religious policies, the fight against extremism and radicalization, and the networking of religious institutions in the two countries. This visit reflects the shared commitment of Djibouti and Somalia to building a strategic partnership in a key area for social cohesion and spiritual development. Djibouti, notably through the Al-Wasatiyya Institute, reaffirmed its commitment to peace, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. And now for the say of the Minister of Muslim Affairs of Somalia, who praised the warm welcome extended by Djibouti and emphasized the importance of strengthening religious ties between the two countries. The Somali Ministry of Muslim Affairs, he stated that cooperation in the training of religious personnel and the management of Waqf shared priorities.
I'm truly honored to be in Djibouti and deeply appreciate the warm welcome extended to me and my delegation, said Sheikh Rubub in a press briefing. He emphasized the deep-rooted historical and cultural ties between Djibouti and Somalia, highlighting the contribution of Djiboutian troops under the Hil Walal mission in Somalia, a symbol of solidarity and mutual support between the two brotherly and friendly nations. The minister stated that his visit aims to further strengthen collaboration between the two religious affairs ministries. Key areas of focus include cooperation on religious matters and the management of Islamic endowment or Waqf. We are here to engage in meaningful discussion on important topics such as Waqf management, zakat distribution, mosque supervision, and development of religious education, he noted. This visit underlines the commitment of both countries to build a stronger partnership in the religious sphere by promoting dialogue, training, and exchange of best practices in managing religious institutions. During their talks, both ministers explored concrete strategies to improve mosque governance, enhance religious education, and better utilize Waqf resources to serve local communities. This official engagement reflects a shared determination by Djibouti and Somalia to deepen bilateral cooperation not only in political and security matters, but also in religious and social development to ensure the well-being and progress of Muslim communities across the region.
And now a launch workshop for the project entitled Integrating Human Mobility in Djibouti's Climate Change Response Strategy was held this morning at the Isla Grand Hotel, led by the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development in collaboration with the Ministry of the Interior and the International Organization for Migration, IOM. This project aims to acknowledge and institutionalize the links between human mobility and climate change in a context of increasing vulnerability. Supported by IOM Development Fund, the project seeks to help the country better anticipate and manage climate-related displacement, such as desertification, water scarcity, and extreme episodes of drought and flooding. The workshop was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry, Mr. Adini Abdullah Omar. Also in attendance were the Director of Environment, the Ministry's Technical Advisor, the IOM representative, Colonel Mahdi Omar from the Police Coordination Office, as well as representatives from public institutions, civil society, local authorities, and technical financial partners.
It's a true pleasure to be here with you today in Djibouti, and I'm deeply honored to join you for the launch of this important initiative. Being among such a diverse and committed group of actors is a testament to the collective will in Djibouti to address one of the most pressing challenges of our time, the intersection of human mobility and climate change.
And now the IOM representatives welcomed the initiative, stressing the importance of integrating migration into climate policies and calling for collective action in the face of these challenges. And for his part, Colonel Mahdi Omar, police coordinator, emphasized the essential role of security forces in managing migration flows while ensuring respect for human rights. And now in his remarks, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Environment emphasized that this project is an integral part of the government's determined commitment to building a more resilient, inclusive and socially cohesive Djibouti, capable of effectively confronting the increasingly urgent and complex challenges posed by climate change and environmental degradation. And now the Secretary General of the UNFD made a visit today to the headquarters of the Tadjoura Regional Branch in the north. During this warm meeting, she had a constructive exchange with local authorities, notably the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Omar Hussein, and the Deputy Prefect, Mr. Habib. After this meeting with the authorities, the Secretary General went on site alongside members of the local executive committee to review ongoing activities, the challenges faced, and the prospect of strengthening action in favor of women and girls in the region. This visit reflects the UNFD's ongoing commitment to listen, support, and strengthen its regional branches by fostering a spirit of closeness and solidarity. Sports now, sports and the auspices of the State Secretary in charge of sport. The Djiboutian Handball Federation organized the Djibouti Cup final this Sunday. The finalist teams, the Coast Guard and Dita Transit, faced off in front of a large audience in an intense match. After a tight score at the end of regular time, the victory was decided by penalty shots. Dita Transit won the Djibouti Cup 2024-25, notably thanks to a goal scored by their goalkeeper. Moreover, the national championship for the 2024-25 season saw the Gendarmerie team compete against Hayablé CNSS. It was a close match won by the Gendarmerie 23-22 after overturning the score in the second half. The final of the championship took place last night in the gymnasium of the State High School. And now at the end of the matches, a trophy presentation ceremony was held in the same gymnasium in the presence of representatives from the State Secretary in charge of sport and the Djiboutian Handball Federation. The best players from both competitions were recognized for their outstanding performance, as well as the top scorer who shone throughout the tournament. The coaches and technical staff of the champion teams were also honored for their strategic work and dedication. The trophies and medals were awarded with emotion, celebrating not only the sporting achievement but also the team spirit and determination displayed on the field. This moment of celebration strengthened the pride of the players and energized the supporters present. This ceremony symbolizes the importance given by the sports authorities to promoting local talents and developing national handball, encouraging also young people to engage in sports practices. And now sports is still the round of 16 phase of the interministerial football tournament began this weekend at the Balbala Sport Complex. The two teams qualified without playing due to the forfeit of their opponents. The State Secretary in charge of sport and the Ministry of Labor in charge of formalization and social protection. In the only match played on the field this afternoon, the National Assembly secured a narrow 1-0 victory over the Ministry of Women and Family. The tournament will continue next weekend with the remaining round of 16 matches, promising even more sports excitement and between institutions. Honorable Deputy Omar Waberi presented the event, praised this ECS initiative, highlighting the essential role of sports in preventing chronic disease such as obesity and strokes. He also emphasized that this dynamic aligns with the vision of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Margele, who prioritized sports infrastructure as a national priority. And now in the region, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, met with the United Nations Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa to enhance regional cooperation. They discussed the political, security and humanitarian challenges affecting the region. Both parties emphasized the need for continued coordination to ensure peace, stability, and sustainable development. The African Union reaffirmed its commitment to collective action with the support of the international community. And now for the international news, as I mentioned, ICRC hands over Palestinian bodies to Gaza in humanitarian operation.
International Committee of the Red Cross announced yesterday that it has handed over another set of Palestinian bodies to local authorities in Gaza under humanitarian agreement brokered internationally between Israel and the Palestinian resistance group Hamas. In an official statement, the ICRC said the operation was carried out in accordance with international humanitarian standards in coordination with both parties to ensure the dignified handling of the remains and allow families to bury their loved ones in line with religious customs. According to an ICRC official on the ground, this latest transfer involved 15 bodies, bringing the total number of remains returned to Gaza to over 130 since the humanitarian trust came into effect. Local medical sources reported that several bodies showed signs of injuries and gunshot wounds, sparking outrage among grieving families who are now calling for international investigation into the circumstances of the death, whether in combat or during detention. The handed over follows the implementation of a temporary ceasefire negotiated with Qatari and Egyptian mediation, which includes special humanitarian provisions for the exchange of remains and missing persons, as well as the entry of emergency aid into the besieged territory.
And now a ceasefire signed between Pakistan and Afghanistan in Doha. The details with Asha.
Pakistan and Afghanistan have signed an immediate ceasefire agreement following high-level talks held in Doha on Saturday, October 18, 2025. The negotiations were mediated by Qatar and included participation from Turkey, Qatari authorities announced. According to a statement from Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the agreement includes the establishment of a monitoring and verification mechanism to ensure compliance with the ceasefire, along with a series of follow-up meetings in the coming days aimed at de-escalating tensions and stabilizing the border region. The deal follows several weeks of intense border clashes between the two countries, which have left thousands dead or injured in one of the worst episodes of violence since 2021. In a separate statement, the Pakistani government stressed that the implementation of the agreement depends on Kabul's commitment to preventing any armed groups from using Afghan territory to launch attacks against Pakistan. Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Afghanistan, a foreign ministry, hailed the agreement as an important step toward regional peace and stability.
And now a major fire broke out Saturday in the cargo sea of Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport in Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Massive fire broke out on Saturday in the cargo zone of Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport in Dhaka, Bangladesh main airport, forcing the temporary suspension of all inbound or outbound flights. According to the Bangladesh Fire Service, the blaze began around 2:15 p.m. local time in the cargo village area where imported or exported goods, including flammable chemicals, are stored. The RE7 fire units, supported by the Army, Navy, and Air Force, were deployed to contain the fire. Civil Aviation and Tourism Minister Mahbub Ali confirmed that flights gradually resumed after a 6-hour suspension once the fire was fully extinguished and the area declared safe. No injuries were reported, but the material damage is estimated to exceed $1 billion. Several international flights, including those from Delhi and Dubai, were diverted to nearby airports such as Kolkata, Chittagong, and Sylhet.
This is it for this 9 p.m. English News edition. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more on RTD.